I'm not a YouTube rapper, come on, give me credit. I don't need to do reactions to get views, okay, I said it. Not a label rapper, I'm way too offensive. Go ahead and call me clickbait, I'm in millions independent. I'm not a mumble rapper, y'all understand every single word. I'm not taking Xanax, rapping about money, liquor, and girls. Not a SoundCloud rapper, I got hits you actually have heard. I exist outside the internet, done shows around the world. Not a boom bap rapper, I'm not stuck in 1990. I like Wu-Tang, but that vibe is kinda old and grimy. Not a conscious rapper, autos rappers sound like SJ Dubs. Not a gangster rapper, cooling up without being a thug. I'm not country rap, I don't play guitar, I don't drive a truck, I don't chew tobacco, get the Chevy stuck 10 feet of mud. I'm not horrorcore, I don't paint my face, I don't trip. I can only be myself and I am Tom McDonald, bitch. I think I gotta let them know. Hey, hey, hey. And let me say it from the soul, man. I hate hip-hop. How dare you call me a rapper when all these rappers don't have nothing left to say. It's full of liars and actors, these little rappers about us, realize their names. I hate hip-hop. Keep the glitz and the glamour, cause all these rappers are putting kids in their graves. I hate hip-hop. The whole culture is cancer, they'll kill their mama for some clout in a chain.
And what is up, everybody? Michael Buckheiser here with Just for Clicks, flying solo dolo again tonight. Mike LeBlanc is out with his beautiful wife in Corpus Christi. Hope you guys are having a great time down there, Mike and Elizabeth, enjoying the 18th wedding anniversary that they are celebrating this weekend. Congratulations, my man. But, guys, some big news was dropped here on the Just for Clicks page over the last, 8 or 9 hours or so. We've been slowly dropping subtle hints in each podcast for the last month, guys. But it has officially been announced July 5th, Just for Clicks and me and Mike LeBlanc are rebranding to make Mike and Mike's Man Hour. Same flavor, just new name, guys. We are switching Facebook pages as well. We created a new Facebook page. So if you guys would be most obliged, head over to Mike and Mike Man Hour and like that Facebook page. Share with a couple friends. We are going to bring such better quality of content, guys. So we are doing studio upgrades. We have new microphones. We have new mixer boards. We have a new computer. We are trying out this new layout. This is why we've been kind of doing this for the last week or so, kind of sprinkling the new stuff in. And guys, and I myself, I am super, super excited about what is about to come with myself and Mike. We have great ideas coming up. We are brainstorming, and we are going to give you guys a production show that you guys all deserve and all want. I mean, thank you guys for hanging out with us for the last 3 or 4 months with myself and Mike LeBlanc. Obviously, I've been doing just for Clicks for about a year now, and it's officially time to turn the page. So give you guys some background of what Just for Clicks was. Is way back when I started podcasting around December or November, a year and a half ago. It was with my man Matthew Lyle and Billy Hatton. We were kind of doing a round the horn thing, couple days a week. I was the moderator of the show, asking questions, kind of steering the conversation, and I felt like I had more to say. I wanted to basically troll them, and that's what it ended up being, was Just for Clicks. Like, I was basically out to troll people, and obviously, we gained a huge following. I mean, 1,200 people. That is no slouch, guys. I appreciate every one of you guys liking the page and sharing the content and interacting with me. Every time I came on air, and then I battled with some co-hosts, and I found the one. Mike LeBlanc and myself really connect, and we decided to grow the brand. So that is how, and that is why Mike and Mike Man Hour is coming to fruition. So it is still going to be the same concept as Just for Clicks, live, raw, and uncut sports talk, just with some new branding and names, and kind of more geared toward us, and because people are wanting to advertise on this, and we open it, and we want to be more welcoming to those advertisements. With that being said, Just for Clicks is not 100% going away, guys. I will still probably do the solo show, but definitely cut it back a little bit because, 5 times a week by yourself while doing a 5-day a week other show an hour long is definitely a lot on one person still working a full-time job and whatnot as well. 2 kids and a wife, and football season's coming up as well. So, Just for Clicks will still be around. So, guys, so don't get discouraged. The same Michael Buckheisters will still be here, still trolling around and like whatnot. But Mike and Mike's Man Hour has officially been announced. July 5th is when we will go live with that. So go over there, check out the Facebook page, like it. We've been dropping some links on there, some pages, some interactions. Stuff is there as well. We also started a sports trash talk group as well. So join that group as well. Talk some trash. Feel free to jump in there and tell Mike LeBlanc that the Yankees suck. Fastest way to get underneath his skin. Tell him that Dak Prescott is the best quarterback in the league and the Yankees suck. You guys win 100% of the time. So you didn't hear that from me. You just heard that from watching the show, right? So yeah. So that was that spiel. That's been the big news, guys. We've been hinting at it, like obviously, like I said, for like a month. We've been slowly, sprinkling like a little bit of Mike and Mike in the afternoon in here, or some Man Hour. So if you guys have been listening, we've been dropping subtle hints for like a while here. So let's go ahead on and move on from that. Have you guys heard anything about this African sandstorm thing? Apparently, where I'm at in southern Indiana, Louisville, Kentucky area, we're supposed to get hit with some random ass sandstorm, I guess, supposed to affect my allergies real bad. So if you guys hear me coughing or sniffing, that is why. I mean, it's obviously allergy season here, but the sandstorm is supposed to make it 10 times worse or some shit like that. But I'm definitely feeling it. I'm drinking the OJ here. I got a tickle in my throat, and it sucks. But yeah. So guys, we are going to take a quick little commercial break here. And I did a interview with Durf from On and Off the Field. Mike and I were we scheduled our shows, months out in advance. And today we were going to break down the NFC, players to watch. And I did that with Durf today on and Off the Field. So we are going to replay that interview with you guys here, the last half hour of the show, like the main part of the show. But we're going to take a quick little break here, catch my breath, catch my drink, and we're going to give you some sports news, and then we'll jump into those sleeper picks. So we'll be right back, guys. Stay tuned. Enjoy. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Just for Clicks, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Spotify. Also, rtfsportsnetwork.com, noon edition East Coast time. We'll be right back.
I'm about it. Y'all should be afraid now. Y'all should be afraid now. I'ma drop blood. I ain't talking red crayons. Y'all should be afraid now. Y'all should be afraid now. Put the gun in the air and fire with shot. Like y'all about to race now. I'm about it. I'm about it. I'm about it. I'm about it like I've never been about it.
And welcome back to Just for Clicks, guys. Michael Buckheister here, live, raw, and uncut sports talk. Coming at you on the noon edition of rtfsportsnetwork.com. That is East Coast time. Feel free to jump in the chat here, guys. Give Mike some warm wishes, some happy anniversary, whatnot. And I'm busting out my cell phone here because I was taking notes, prepping for the show on my cell phone. Have you guys ever ran out of paper? Like, is that even a thing anymore? But I couldn't find a sheet of paper anywhere in my house, so I got my phone. So why not use it, right? So. We are going to do kind of Sriracha, but kind of not. So bear with me here. I'm kind of winging it tonight because like all of our focus has been on Mike and Mike's man hour. So this is kind of, it's not an after effect, but like I don't have the sound effects lined up or anything like that here. But some of the biggest news happening in the NFL right now is the Cowboys and Steelers preseason game has officially been canceled. That was the Hall of Fame game. Obviously in Canton, Ohio, on the high school field with the turf problems and sand problems and whatnot. But this has been the first official NFL game that has been canceled. Of course, it is a preseason game, so it doesn't really matter anyways. They've already said they're probably only going to play 2 preseason games anyways. So what is burning me up about this is I understand we're going to push back the Hall of Fame and inductees and whatnot, but we've been doing graduations and everything else over like Zoom and Skype and stuff like that. Why can't we do the Hall of Fame inductees over that as well? I mean, to me, like, that is the ultimate kickoff of the football season, is watching the Hall of Fame inductee speeches and the other person's speeches, and like just like watching grown ass men cry. I mean, like that to me is the ultimate kickoff to the football season. So NFL, please don't push that back or cancel it, because I look forward to that every year. I want to see them cry. I want to see grown ass men cry. That's what it comes down to. But the Dallas Cowboys and Pittsburgh Steelers Hall of Fame preseason game has officially been canceled in Canton, Ohio. That's Sriracha.
Sriracha! It's burning me up!
The next Sriracha of the night is Odell Beckham Jr. is, quote, finally fully healthy. I didn't even know he was injured. Like, I know he was battling some type of hip or a hamstring injury last year, but that's a part of being in the NFL. Everybody has to battle injuries every year. You know, if it's turf toe, if it's just a hangnail, if it's just a sore quad, you're always battling some type of injury. But to say you're fully healthy and you're going to have a great year now, come on, Odell Beckham Jr. There's a reason why you got traded. Ooh, I got a sneeze, but it's not coming out here. Woo, sorry about that, guys. I told you that Sahara sandstorm is getting me down and getting my eyes watery and throat scratchy. But Odell Beckham Jr. is finally healthy for the Cleveland Browns. What does this mean for the Cleveland Browns? Absolutely nothing. That's just what it is. Absolutely nothing. They are habitual losers. Yes, I have them 5th seed in the playoffs. I had them going like 9-7, I think it was, it was 9-7. But still a first-round playoff exit. I mean, it doesn't matter at the end of the day.
Sriracha! It's burning me up!
And then July 28th, guys, circle that date on the calendar. Why? Because that is when NFL training camps are supposed to be open, July 28th. July 28th was also the day that Major League Baseball was supposed to officially kick off, like the opening day, July 28th. July 28th is also the day that I believe NBA is supposed to come back as well. July 28th, guys, circle that date on the calendar. A month away, a month and 3 days, however you want to say it. A month from next Sunday, July 28th. Sports are supposed to be back, guys. But probably not. COVID's taking back all over the world. Thanks, Texas. Thanks, Florida. Thank you, Arizona. Guys, COVID is going to shut down our sports, whether we like it or or not. So circle that date on July 28th, and I want to place that over under. People in the chat here, like, guys, let me know if we're going to start sports on July 28th. July 28th is supposed to be the kickoff of everything. Baseball, basketball, football. July 28th. Is it going to happen? Probably not. And it's making me sad. It's actually burning me up. Sriracha that.
Sriracha! It's burning me up!
And the final Sriracha of the night, I wasn't going to talk about NASCAR again because I mean, I'm a passive NASCAR fan. If I'm back in Kansas and they're having a race there at the Kansas Speedway, I'm going to try to go. Going to a live NASCAR event it's freaking awesome. I mean, yes, they make left turns, but damn it, they're going 200 miles an hour. I mean, my first time at a NASCAR race, I was like, man, this is going to be boring as hell. But then my dad's like, hey, why aren't you taking in beer? You know, like I was finishing like my last beer and get ready to walk into the track. I'm like, well, you got to buy beer in there. It's going to be like $12 a beer or whatever. It's like, no, man. Take your cooler, put beer in your pocket, and walk your ass inside. You can take in a cooler at Kansas Speedway. Like I brought 12 beers into Kansas Speedway. Stood up, you know, I'm like 5th or 6th row up of turn 1 there. First time those cars went by, flew back in my seat, my hat flew off. I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah, this is awesome. But New Hampshire race this weekend, NASCAR race in New Hampshire. They said they're going to allow fans in the grandstands, probably social distancing apart at 50% capacity or whatever. But this is the ultimate test of whether NFL can have sports, whether Major League Baseball can have sports, whether, basketball can have sports, or not sports, but fans. If this NASCAR race does well in New Hampshire with the fans in there, there's not a huge-ass spike in COVID cases in that area, probably, New Jersey, New Hampshire, Vermont, Maine, those surrounding New England states. I could see fans being allowed in. I could see it. But wasn't New York a hot spot for COVID? Wasn't like the New England states like the mecca of freaking COVID just like 2 months ago? I mean, like, New Hampshire Motor Speedway, are you guys hurting for money that bad that you have to put fans in there? Hopefully you guys are not risking our health of everybody else in the world and shutting down the rest of the sports by making a little bit of money. Hopefully not. But if you guys do, that's going to really chap my ass and really burn me up. 100%. But guys, that is going to be Sriracha for tonight. A little bit of, different feel. Like I said, Mike and Mike's Man Hour is coming, guys, July 5th. Be sure to head over to that Facebook page and give it a like. But after the break, I had an interview with Durf from On and Off the Field. I was on their show, but we're going to bring that interview over here. I'm going to play it for you guys, and we're going to do the NFL Sleepers. So, sorry, not the NFL Sleepers, the NFC Sleepers. So, from each team, one sleeper pick from each team. We're going to do that interview right after this on the RTSSportsNetwork.com, noon edition, East Coast time, guys. We will be right back.
The facts, we don't stand a chance. 1 in 3 is locked away. Over half don't know they dead. See, white privilege ain't a money thing, but it's white people who are running things. Y'all benefit from your coloring. My pigment produce suffering. It's all white pride, white power, white lies, white houses, white guys, whitewashing. My brothers, my sisters, my culture while I'm watching. If I was black, I'd probably hate myself from shit they say. Racism made me racist, and I am not the one to blame. Hey, y'all won't say it to my face.
And welcome back to Just for Kids, guys. Like I promised, I'm going to be on air with Dylan for Durf from On and Off the Field, guys. So be sure to head over to RTSSportsNetwork.com to check the full version of this, and it'll be replayed on our YouTube channel as well. If you guys want to hear the interview of that, go over to YouTube.com. Search for Mike's and Mike's Man Hour. We have officially changed that name over there. So Mike's and Mike's Man Hour is the YouTube channel. So guys, be sure to check that out. Check the full interview with Durf from On and Off the Field. But we'll be back Sunday night. Me and Mike LeBlanc. But stay tuned for the interview, guys. Have a great weekend. Enjoy yourselves. Be safe. And watch out for that massive-ass sandstorm that's going to affect everybody and make our allergies miserable.
Please welcome Buckheister.
What is up, Durf? What's going on, my man?
What's going on, Michael?
Can you hear me all right, man?
So, I can hear you. You're a little on the quiet side, but I can hear you.
I'll turn up the mic a little bit for you, bub. There you go.
So, there you go. That sounds good. So, Michael is from Just for Clicks, as well as our, correct me if I'm wrong, the CEO of RTF Sports Network. So we got a really special guest tonight.
Yep, the CEO, man. Put that name on the desk. It makes me feel special.
Oh yeah, definitely. I did hear that you're changing the name of the show, maybe?
Yeah, so me and my co-host Mike LeBlanc, we are rebranding the Just for Clicks podcast into Mike and Mike's Man Hour. The reasoning behind that is because when Mike was brought on, it was simply just a solo show. It was simply just myself. And for those of you that follow me on Twitter and stuff like that, I am a social troller. Like, I troll people just to get underneath their skin. I mean, like, I might agree with you. I do think the Bills will go 11-5, but every time I come on to your guys' show, I'm like, oh, the Bills are going to be 5-12, right? So it is just the Just for Clicks movement is catching such traction that that Mike and myself are, we just need to rebrand and go a different direction for our sponsors and that kind of thing. So
nice. I am looking forward to seeing the changeover to Mike and Mike. Said Mike and Mike the Man Hour.
Mike and Mike Man Hour.
Hour. All right. Yeah. So
it is going to be the same exact thing that we're doing for Just for Clicks. Some NFL talk, college talk as well, but sprinkling like a little bit of man stuff. Like putting steaks on the grill. Why? Why do people are just not having very good success in life? Just that kind of thing. So
nice. Awesome. Well, you heard it. You heard it, listeners. You check that show out. That's a good show there. So get to our main segment here and kind of continue on from last week, what Dylan and I talking about, kind of our surprise sleeper players. Talked about the AFC last week. So this week we're going to kind of go over the NFC. So I have both lists here, but I think we're going to go over my list, Justin. And then definitely. You can kind of tell me if I'm wrong or if I'm right. I'm not entirely sure what Dylan's comments here are for his players, so I don't want to assume something and then he tell me later, man, you were completely wrong. What are you doing? So let's go ahead and start with the NFC East. So we'll start with the Philadelphia Eagles. The sleeper kind of person to watch, I'm thinking, for the Eagles is cornerback Darius Slay. Now, the reason I picked him is because the Eagles were atrocious in the secondary last year. They need to stay healthy this year. So can he keep that secondary healthy and not let that defense be atrocious on the back end?
See, that is tough for me to say because I didn't think the defense had so many injuries as the offensive side of the ball. On the defensive side of things are such like you can pretty much plug and play any player in the safety and the cornerback position. So for a safety to be a sleeper pick, that is kind of tough for me to agree with that. But yes, Slay does need to stay healthy because they do play the Dallas Cowboys twice this season with three big name receivers. Like you have Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, and the other one's always slips my mind. What's his name? But yeah, so they had three big name receivers. And just their schedule looking forward. I'm pulling up their schedule right now, and they play some pretty notable offenses. They play the Cowboys offense. They play the Baltimore Ravens offense that has to be man-to-man so you can put 7-8 guys in the box to lock down Lamar Jackson. So I'm going to go against my gut here 100%. But yes, Slay does have to stay healthy for the Eagles to be successful. And I think he does stay healthy.
Yeah, I hope so. It'll be big. We need some more competition in the NFC East. Now more 9-7, 8-8 winning the division. We need some good wins there. So moving on to the Dallas Cowboys, I didn't just pick one player. I picked the entire offensive line because they lost some key players on that line this offseason, with that, especially Travis Frederick leaving, making his retirement. My concern to make sure to watch this line is that can Zeke perform with this new regime of linemen on this team? And if he doesn't, will that make the Cowboys regret their decision if they get a long-term deal with Dak Prescott on July 15th?
Yeah, so obviously Frederick's retiring definitely hurt the Dallas Cowboys offensive line. He was the staple on that line for 5 or 6, 7 years. I can't remember exactly how long it was, but he's been there for a while. But he also hasn't been healthy for the last 2 years either. I think he's played maybe a total of 16 or 17 games in the last 2 seasons. So that's equivalent to like 8 games a year. That's half a season. But the biggest key, I think, is Tyron Smith, that left tackle. He has also been in and out of the lineup as well the last couple years. So with I believe it was a back injury or something to that effect. Can't remember for sure. But they did draft some young kids. So they have a center that's is a rookie, I do believe. Their right guard is their second year player, and their right tackle, he got drafted last year, which will be ultimately taking the center spot from my understanding. But yes, this line has to stay healthy. But I'm not too worried about the young guys. I'm worried about Tyron Smith being healthy because we saw it when Tyron Smith was in there, Zeke was able to run the ball 100+ yards every game. When he wasn't, you're looking at 50 yards, top for Zeke with like 5-10 touches, the total. I mean, and with Dak Prescott being that answer now in signing that franchise tag, you are putting a lot of pressure on Dak Prescott, and he doesn't handle the pressure that well. He needs Zeke to do well. Therefore, Zeke needs Tyron Smith. So I do like your pick from the offensive line, but I'm really going to focus on Tyron Smith. He has to stay healthy.
Good. That's fair point. Yeah. So I think for a little, and you kind of mentioned it here with Dak Prescott, just a little quick tangent here. I think that's why the Cowboys don't want to pay. That's why they franchise tagged him off the bat instead of paying and getting the contract for him. It's kind of like you said, if Zeke doesn't get the ball running because that line doesn't perform, then now the ball falls in Dak's hands. He has to make those plays. But when he's under pressure like that, he struggles. And I think that's where the Cowboys organization's like, I don't know. It kind of makes you think back. Well, remember, he's a 4th-round pick. You see a lot of great quarterbacks come out of the later round. You don't see as many great quarterbacks coming out of the later rounds, but it's kind of like this offensive line is the key to Dak Prescott's money.
Yeah, like I definitely understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
But to add to your point there, that we don't see many great quarterbacks in the late later rounds, but also how many quarterbacks do you see drafted in the late later rounds? You always see the quarterbacks always get drafted in the first, second round, sometimes third and fourth round, being like you very rarely see quarterbacks drafted after the 4th round. Why? Because people want their quarterbacks early. Quarterback is where the money is made, where the teams are made and break. So you have to spend your top round picks on quarterbacks. So
yeah, definitely. It doesn't hurt that the media kind of pushes them up the ladder board anyway when it comes draft time. But so moving on to the New York Giants, I went with the rookie offensive tackle Andrew Thomas, and the kind of reason why I went with him is it's a little similar to the Cowboys, but I think the biggest thing is that the Giants have a lot of young talent on that offense. We'll see how Daniel Jones plays out, but they have Saquon Barkley there who just gets it done. And now you need to build this lineup. So they go with Andrew Thomas, and maybe this is the start of the real foundation building for this Giants team to kind of help this offense really get better and kind of live up to that potential.
Yeah, I definitely like your sleeper pick there. But look at some of the teams that they play here. Some of these defenses that they're getting ready to play. They're playing the Pittsburgh Steelers very first week. That defensive front seven is pretty strong, top 10 in the league. The Chicago Bears, they still have Khalil Mack. They still have that mean defensive tackle. I can't think of his name right now. Then they play San Francisco 49ers. They got. They drafted well. They have quite arguably the best defense in the league. So those first 3 weeks could make or break the New York Giants in that left tackle position, protecting Daniel Jones' blind side, because you have 3 great edge rushers coming at you the first weeks of the season. Welcome to the NFL.
Yeah. Yeah. It's what's interesting to see kind of how these tackles react to these professional pass rushers as compared to the college players.
Right.
Making that transition. But so moving on to the Washington Redskins, I kind of went on the other side of the ball here with the Redskins. So I'm going to keep an eye on Montez Sweat. I think the reason I want to keep an eye on him because I want to kind of see if he can improve his game with this focus from the offensive, from their opponents on the offense, kind of shifting their focus towards the rookie Chase Young, who they drafted this year. And can the Redskins with Ron Rivera kind of create that dynamic duo on the defensive line, on the edge, and kind of be that 1-2 punch, rushing, kind of make these offenses a little nervous about them coming off the edge. And you don't normally see a ton of that. I feel like you don't normally see a ton of this from the Redskins just because they've been kind of that weaker team for so long. But it'll be interesting. I think it'll be interesting to see how the Giants' offensive line, kind of what we just talked about, and how the Cowboys' offensive line kind of do they get affected by this kind of 1-2 punch possibly with Sweat and Young?
Right. So I have been pretty much in it with the agreement with you and all these picks, except for this point. I don't think Montez Sweat is even projected to be a starter because I think Chase Young is now projected over him to start at that right defensive end. So I don't think yes, defensive players do sub in and out more often to keep fresh, but he definitely isn't going to have an impactful season being a backup.
Right. Yeah. It's definitely hard if he's not going to be starting, and if he really just loses the job to the rookie, that's going to be a little tough for him to be that sleeper essentially. But so that's the NFC East, and so we'll move on to the NFC North, and we'll start with the Green Bay Packers. They had one job in the draft to do, and I'm pretty sure they failed at it. So the sleeper players I picked are all of the wide receivers for the Packers, because if they don't perform, I think you're going to see the heat's going to get turned on to Aaron Rodgers, and then the upper organization is going to be like, well, we got Love over here on the bench. Maybe he can do it with the receivers. Rodgers can't do it anymore.
True. Yeah. So I actually had a fellow RTF sportscaster on our show last week when we broke down the Green Bay Packers, and I asked him the same exact question. The Packers had one job in the draft, and that was draft wide receiver. Why didn't they go that route? And Green Bay Greg, shout out to him, says they didn't need a receiver. They have a bunch of solid 2, 3, 4-year receivers on that team. He brought out Funchins and Lazard. He said, remember those two names. Those two guys are going to have impactful years, big breakout years, because everybody is going to be double teaming Devontae Adams. You're going to have a safety sliding over the top. Funchins and Lazard are going to have big years. So he said, watch out for them. The wide receiver core is just fine. Aaron Rodgers is just fine. He says you need to watch out for the tailback because they don't know if the running back can carry the load this season.
Right, yeah. I feel like that's been a thing for the Packers for the last, decade, it seems like. It's
ever since they let it go Eddie Lacy because he was overweight or whatever. They haven't had that solid running back that they can count on.
Yeah, they've been very much a pass-happy team compared to kind of some other NFC North teams that are very ground and pound. So let's move on to the Minnesota Vikings. So I think the player on the Vikings to watch is the rookie wide receiver, Justin Jefferson. Now, I actually did in my mock draft, I did have him projected to go to the Vikings, so that was kind of good to see there. But I'm really curious to see and some people disagree with this, but how does this rookie fill that void with Adam Thielen stepping up and Stephon Diggs kind of getting shipped over to Buffalo? What is this rookie going to do? Now, I'm assuming Thielen's going to be the number one receiver, and Jefferson's probably going to be at number 2 for him. Do they still have the same kind of passing game for the Vikings with Kirk Cousins? I don't know.
I think they have to mock what the Kansas City Chiefs offense does with Tyreek Hill. You have to put him in many positions, into the slot, into the number one receiver, even at a tailback. Like, you have to get the ball in his hands somehow, some way, at least 15 times a game. I think he ran like a 4.3 40-yard dash at the combine. Very, very fast guy. Very, very shifty. I remember him watching in the championship game. You just have to get him in the open field. So if the Vikings coaching staff can get him in the open field, get the ball in his hands, he will have a very impactful season. Kirk Cousins will no longer be a dud on prime times. They could go 13-3.
Yeah.
But I don't see the coaching staff being able to get Jeffries in the right positions to excel. So I think he's going to kind of be a bust.
Yeah. You can see it. I feel like LSU is one of those tricky schools that you see receivers coming out of sometime. I mean, like OBJ and Landry came out of there, but they've done some good things, but they're in Cleveland right now with a inept quarterback and an inept coaching staff last year that they just can't get the job done. So the receivers look bad. But I digress. Moving on.
It'll be interesting if the coaching staff can adapt to the players. That's what makes the coaching staff great, is being able to adapt to the players. So hopefully, for Viking fans, they can do that. But for me, I hope they fall flat on their face, because I have the Lions winning that division. But I digress.
So moving on to the Chicago Bears, I went with inside linebacker Roquan Smith. He kind of had a down year last year when I was looking at his stats. I mean, granted, he only played 12 games, so he really wasn't that far off in stats. But can the Bears really get that defense that everyone was afraid of 2 years ago, with Smith and Khalil Mack being there, and that defensive line kind of getting up there and performing? Like, we all know they're going to have to carry the offense half the season.
Right.
Because they're going to be playing the carousel of quarterbacks. I mean, we hope not, but it's likely. And it's kind of interesting to see. Like, I looked at his stats the other day, and his rookie year breakout stats here. But then kind of last year it went down a little bit. I'm curious to see if he can make a bounce back.
Yeah, many people will say it is the sophomore slump. The second the second year NFL players always hit that wall, yada yada yada, and they always have a great third year. Well, he was obviously injured last season. I believe he's fully healthy now. He's been resting all of off season, and he still has Khalil Mack on the outside. So Khalil Mack's going to get a lot of attention. Roquan Smith is going to get a lot of one-on-ones, if not even blockers on him, at all. So I do like that pick. Roquan Smith, I bet you he has at least 100 tackles this season in the first 14 games.
I want to see that. Nothing like some good defense play. All right. So last but not least, your predicted division champs here.
Not predicted, the division champs.
Detroit Lions, I took running back Kerryon Johnson. He's had flashes. He struggles with injury. It happened last year again for him. He gets injured and just struggle. But then the Lions go and draft DeAndre Swift out of Georgia.
Right.
So is Kerryon really going to be that useful? But they're gonna rely on the rookie's legs more often, because you see it a lot in the NFL, and aging NFL running backs. If you start being injury prone, you're out the door by 30.
Right.
So I'm curious to see, can Kerryon be the starter, and is he going to feel the pressure from the rookie and potentially lose that starting job, or worse, not stay healthy and lose it that way? Because I would rather lose a starting job because I'm not performing than to get hurt, get carted off the field, and watch the rookie go in there and run a touchdown.
Right. So honestly, drafting DeAndre Swift was probably a blessing in disguise for Carry On, because the NFL, they do that 1-2 punch now. You see many NFL teams have two running backs. Look at the Cleveland Browns; they have Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Look at the Kansas City Chiefs; they have two backs that they use. Actually, they use three backs quite effectively. It sucks for fantasy points, but this is real life. This is a blessing in disguise for Carry On Johnson. Last year he had 400 yards. I could see him doubling that, if not breaking the 1,000 yard mark. And I see Swift doing the same thing. So either running back on this Detroit Lions team, it can be your sleeper pick 100%. I do like your Carry On Johnson pick.
All right. Yeah. So moving on to the NFC South, let's start out with the New Orleans Saints. So for the Saints, kind of similar to the Ryans, I went with the running back here. But I'm looking at Latavius Murray. Can Murray be the complementary back that Alvin Kamara needs, like when Mark Ingram was there? Like when Mark Ingram was there and Alvin Kamara came into the league, like that was a great 1-2 punch. Obviously, players are going to go where they can make more money, better deals happen, better opportunities. When I was looking at the roster, I didn't see a lot of names in the running back depth chart to say anyone's going to take that spot from Latavius Murray behind Alvin Kamara. But the question is kind of like, can Murray complement Kamara enough that the Saints can have a running game so that Drew Brees quits extending his records.
Right.
But yeah, it's kind of, I feel like Alvin Kamara had a down year last year, but it was also the kind of the thing where you notice that it's kind of the time that I noticed that, hey, Mark Ingram's not there anymore. They're not the same running back duo as they used to be. And it'd be interesting to see if Murray kind of fills those shoes a little better this year.
Yeah, the problem with Murray, that he is entering his 7th or 8th year into the NFL. You said it earlier, the shelf life on an NFL running back is 4 to 5 years. He's definitely over that limit, 100%. And we are in a pass-happy league now. Let's be totally honest. If a quarterback's not throwing 40 times a game, we're like, oh, this is boring. Why aren't they throwing the ball more? Why aren't they scoring more scoring more points? But I don't like this. I don't like this Murray pick simply because I think he is only going to be in there on 2nd and 1, 3rd and 1 type of situations too, where they pound the ball in just so they don't have a chance of hurting a smaller Alvin Kamara. Because he is a smaller running back. You want him to run outside the tackles and run screens. So you're going to use and abuse Murray this season on 2nd and 1, 3rd and 1 type situations. So if you want to call that a sleeper pick, yes. But as far as stat wise, I don't see him raising any eyebrows this season.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. The stats might not be there, but just being able to, like those short yardage situations, you want that kind of that bigger back.
Those are big,
being able to pound it up the middle. And I feel like that's what they had with Ingram and Kamara when Ingram was there. So I'm more just keeping an eye on it to see, can they reduce the amount of times Kamara has to be in that situation where he has to use his weight, which is not a ton, and try to get through that middle.
Let me go on a little tangent here. I have been predicting some trades this season. I think Derek Carr is going to end up in New England by the end of the season. Ooh. I would not be surprised if a New York Jets running back, they have like 6 or 7 up there, comes down to New Orleans, aka Frank Gore. I would not be surprised if Frank Gore ends up in New Orleans by the end of the season.
Oh, all right. That's not a bad. That wouldn't be too shocking for me. I feel like Frank Gore's starting to turn into Ryan Fitzpatrick a little bit here. Kind of. I
mean, he's his 17th year, so yeah,
making his way around the league.
He wants to win a ring.
Yeah, you got to go where it is, where the talent is. All right. So moving on to the Falcons, I went with Dante Fowler, defensive end for them. I was a little surprised when I was looking at his stats that his stats are so up and down from year to year. Like 1 year he'll be good, next year absolutely garbage. Like it's just he falls off these stats so quickly. But last year he had kind of a better year, and he comes to he's on a Falcons team that struggles to stay healthy on the defense. Like I would think he's projected for a down stat year. He's going to struggle even more when that Falcons defense just all gets injured and he's the only one out there.
Right. So the Falcons are a team that is just good enough not to be bad, but not bad enough to get the first round pick, that type of thing. So Dante Fowler, when he was with the Jacksonville Jaguars, he was stat wise, he was great. Why? Because there was no expectations on him to do well whatsoever. When he went to the Rams, he was expected to dominate, right? Because of all those stats that he had in Jacksonville. He had down year. Maybe because it was double team. Maybe it was because of the hype, yada, yada, yada. Now I think we are expecting him to have a down year. So he is going to rise to the occasion and do well. He is going to do much what he did in Jacksonville because there's no pressure on this team to win. Like I feel like on that Rams team that he was on, that defense was a very aging defense. They were all in a must-win Super Bowl now type of mindset. And now that he's on the Atlanta Falcons, he's probably a rebuilding team. I think he'll do well. I think that is a great pick.
All right. Perfect. So moving on to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I went with defensive tackle. I'm going to say his name wrong. Vita Vea. Hope I didn't say it wrong, but believe he's second year out of Washington now. I can't remember. Anyway, he's kind of been progressively getting better.
Right.
That front seven in the Buccaneers, it's surprisingly they've been really well. Like you see the explosion from Shaq Barrett come out this past season. We're expecting it again, but you don't usually see a ton of explosion out of their defensive tackles in any team usually. I mean, granted, when Sue was still pretty young and fresh, like you're always worried about him. Like you're always worried about, you always want to block him, but you always worry about those edge guys more.
Yeah.
So, okay. I'm just kind of curious whether Vita Vea can kind of continue to be that complementary pass rush that can really help that front seven progress even more. Now that they have Tom Brady on the other side, that's going to put them in better game-winning situations.
Right. So when you look at this roster on the Tampa Bay Bucks sideline, they are riddled with big names. They got Sue. They got JPP. They got Shaquille Barrett, Devin White. These are all big names 7 years ago, right?
Right.
7 years ago. So the problem with like this is, I mean, yes, you have to respect Sue some. You have to respect JPP some. But once Vita Vea starts having a breakout season, what are they going to do? They're going to double team him because they're going to see that Sue is not as fast as he used to be on the outside. JPP isn't as fast as he was on the outside either. So I don't think. I mean, defensive linemen are hard to measure sleepers because do you measure them off of stats, or do you measure them? Hey, he's taking up 2 blockers to free Devin White. So if you want to classify as that as a sleeper pick, as yes, he's going to take two blockers on every play, then yes, I will agree with you on that. Now, if you say he's going to have 50, 60 tackles, no, I don't think he'll get like he'll do that.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm just looking for more of a complementary. Like if he can take up 2 tackles, that frees up Shaq Barrett crashing down the outside. If they go that route with a blitz or using him, and that just opens up more for Shaq Barrett. Like yes, you want personal player stats to go up, but you need team stats to go up in order to win.
The eye test.
Yes. So last in the NFC South, for the Carolina Panthers, I went with rookie defensive tackle Derek Brown. He was the best graded defensive tackle in this past year's draft. Can he transition that talent into the NFL? And then you also look at with this first-year coach and Matt Rule, is Matt Rule going to have the right scheme for him on this defense?
So the one thing positive about defensive players is usually they transfer well over to the NFL. You can only rush so many times. There's only so many swim moves. There's so many spin moves. Now, as far as the personnel packages and like if he'll get put in the right position, they still have a very good defensive coach. I don't remember his name off the top of my head, but he has been around the league for quite a while. Matt Rule did a good job of picking him up, and I think the Carolina Panthers defense will surprise some people, and I think this guy will have one of those sleeper years. Yes, his game will transition well over to the NFL. I mean, he's 320 pounds. I mean, he's going to be tough to move just standing there. So any athletic ability that he has is just an improvement on that side. He'll be fine.
Yeah, definitely. All right. So the last but not least division, we had the NFC West. And let's start with the Super Bowl runner-ups, the San Francisco 49ers. Now, they have one heck of a defense, and I feel like they did nothing but get better over the last season. They lost to Forrest Buckner. I still think they're a top 10, top 5 defense for sure. So the player that I'm watching is Fred Warner. Now, who doesn't like a guy named Fred?
Right.
I don't know. I don't know many Freds that I'm like, nah, I'm not a big fan of him. But I think in that position, in that middle linebacker position, you're kind of like that commander of the defense, and you see. I feel like you see a lot of times when teams are rebuilding, that player is besides the quarterback, it's one of the most important players most important positions to draft well. So I'm interested to see whether or not this defense can continue on this next season, and can he continue to bring this defense together and maintain that defensive ranking kind of near the top of the league.
Yeah, he is going to do all those things because of look at the people he has in front of him, taking up all that loose meat. Like you have Nick Bosa, you have Javon Kinlaw, up there, two really, really great athletes that is going to allow him to run free. And me being a former linebacker myself, I loved when I had a 400-pound defensive tackle taking up two blockers and I could run free. Yeah. He is going to get to run free a lot this season with Nick Bosa and Javon Kinlaw taking up many, many blockers. A offense is going to scheme around those two guys, giving the linebackers free range. He's going to have a great year. And the San Francisco 49ers have history of darn good linebackers. I mean, he's going to follow in those footsteps and have a great year.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so. I 100% agree with that. So, moving on to the Seahawks. You know, they almost beat the Bears for a number of tight ends on the team. So I'm just going to watch all the tight ends and see what happens. Because it seems like to me, anytime I watch a Seahawks game, Russell Wilson's running for his life.
Yeah. Because
there's no short pass game. And he's got to run away from the defender because the line failed him, and then he's got to heave it down the field because that's the only open receiver. Like, where are these tight ends that can't just run that shallow route, and then Russell Wilson can just dump it off? The tight end's open, you run a hook up the sideline, and you get what you get.
Right. Greg Olson's going to have a huge year for the Seattle Seahawks.
Mhm.
Why? Because that is how he's made all of his money on these teams that he has been with, are these short and immediate passing games. Play breaks down. He breaks off to like an out route, taps toes the sideline, boom, 5-6 yards.
Yeah.
Plus, they got two big name receivers, two fast receivers, big receivers. Tyler Lockett's. I mean, he isn't big in stature, but he is big in playmaking ability. And what's the other guy? DK Metcalf. He's like 6'6", 240 pounds. I mean, Greg Olson is going to feast this year. Get him in fantasy 100%.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it'll be. I feel like for years you've always just, there goes Russell Wilson running down the field because he had to run away from the defender. Like, you just want to see a more complete team. Like, don't let the plays fall apart. Get that, and yeah, like you said, Greg Olson is probably gonna have a really good year there because he's the veteran presence all those other tight ends are gonna need to know how to play a defense. And
I think they drafted a tight end too, right? If I'm not mistaken.
I want to say they did. So they had a couple young guys last year, I thought, but they got quite a big tight end room there. All right, moving on to the Rams. Kind of similar to where I was looking with the Seahawks. I went with Tyler Higbee, the tight end. He hasn't had like breakout star stats, but his stats over the last couple of years, they're always getting better. And I really want to see how he can take the next step. Kind of similar to the tight ends in Seattle. How can Tyler Higbee help Jared Goff stay average? Because that's all I see Jared Goff as is an average quarterback.
Unfortunately, I think Tyler Higbee is going to take a step back this season because of they lost the running back. What is his name? Todd Gurley. He went to the Falcons. Everybody has caught up to Sean McVay's play calling. You know, Sean McVay's kind of a flash in the pan, just like Jared Goff kind of a flash in the pan. You want to talk about a quarterback running for their lives this year? Jared Goff is going to be it. And unfortunately, he is just not football IQ enough to look for Tyler Higbee in that dump down situation. He is always going to want to push the ball down the field to Cooper Kupp, and unfortunately, Higbee is going to suffer this season.
Yeah, and I think that's why he hasn't had phenomenal stats the last couple of years. So I mean, he could just be that lower end stat tight end, and
if he was on any other team, I think he'd have a breakout year. But the fact that he's on a Rams that's going to finish 2-12 or 2-14, I should say. I mean, it sucks for him.
Right. Yeah, definitely. And the last team of the NFC East, or the NFC, correction there, the Arizona Cardinals. Now, they got DeAndre Hopkins. They have Larry Fitzgerald. I know they're going to be okay. I'm watching Christian Kirk. He came into the league. He kind of had some flashes. Now he's the third string receiver, but you still have the great Larry Fitzgerald there. And now you bring in a stud talent in DeAndre Hopkins to help Kyler Murray continue to develop. I would keep an eye on Christian Kirk in the slot or in that rotation, and you're not going to see him with one-on-one or being pressed by your top-end corners on that defense. It's going to be a safety or an outside linebacker if they're running 5 wide or you're not running a tight end in the formation. I think he's going to be a guy that he might not have the stats because of Hopkins and Fitzgerald there, but he's going to see more action.
You know, I would agree with you if this was 2 years down the road. Just the fact that Hopkins this is his first year in Arizona, I think Kyler Murray wants to really utilize him and kind of, project him up to that number one seed. And then you're going to see Larry Fitzgerald probably by week 3 or week 4, he'll be like, hey, this is my final year. And he's going to be basically want to get him like a 100 yards each game just to finish his career on top. And Christian Kirk, he has a history of getting injured. I think he's only played 10 or 11